Alright, here we go again. I've got 5 more cards to share today from the Simon Says Stamp April card kit of the month, A Little Artsy. And this is almost, yeah, that's about it of what I have left. My little rub-ons are down here in a small envelope here. And then here's my collection of the papers that I have left. Not a whole lot. And that's great because I wanted to use as much of the consumable part of the kit as I could, so I didn't have a bunch of stuff to store and forget about, and then I can reuse this over and over. So let's get into card number 1. For card number 1, I'm starting with my own card base that I've made, and a panel that's 4 by 5 1/4 of black, the black cardstock, and then you can see this patterned paper here, and I've glued these all on just to make it faster. The stripy one, that is 3 3/4 by 5. And then we have another paper with the little vignettes here. This one is the house, and so I'm going to make a little focal point with that. I have a scrap of white that, if you're curious, is about 2 3/8 by 3 1/8 roughly, and then a black scrap that's 2 1/4 by 3, and that's just a little bit smaller. Have a little bit of white and black showing, and then on my house I've put it onto this thin foam tape that I have. Foam tape, it's fun foam, adhesive backed fun foam. I also have a little scrap of what I had left of the purple paper. This is about 3 5/8, I think that is, 4 5/8, yeah. And it's about 1 3/8, and then I have a slightly larger piece of black card put on the back, and I could have used a smaller piece of this stripey, but I was kind of just creating it on the fly there, and so that is an option. If you don't want to use as much of the black and white stripe, you can make it a little shorter and not bother with the second scrap of the black. Because I'm just going to put it down here so you see, it's a little redundant, but I think it works. And then that is the start there. And then we'll go back to our beautiful little house and put it onto the backing papers that we've got here. So it's a little bit of dimension, but I can still see a little bit of the black and then the white. And you can see the thickness there. And that I'm going to put over here. Before I glue that down, if you have an astute eye, you might have noticed just a wee bit of something happening here. That was because I was trying to see what it would look like with the rub-on, and boy, these guys are pretty sticky, and there was part of the rub-on that I didn't rub anything, but it really wanted to stay part of the card. But so that I can share it with you, I tried to get as much of it back off of there so that I can do it on camera. Yeah, trying out the idea, and then it was like, I'm staying. So let's rub this on. I think sometimes the rub-on has like a bit of a mind of its own, you know? It's like sticking when you don't want it to, and then sometimes it's a bit finicky to get it to go on when you do want it to. But these are so fun, and they add so much detail so fast, and you can put them on such a variety of surfaces that I still love them, even if they sometimes have a little attitude, which I do myself, so we can't be too harsh on judging that, can we? Now, I can go ahead and put my house down, and the green is just coming out behind. That I'm just going to use tape runner for. I do want to have some of this black showing. Do I want the stripe? I don't think I want the stripe. I don't know. Let me see. I think I like it kind of like that. So, and there we have it now. And then we have a few more rub-ons here. Let's see. I think this one I might want to rub onto a scrap of white card, which of course I don't have. Let's go with the Hooray. It's from our fabulous rub-on sheet. I think I'm going to have it just be a little bit to the left. This is my trick, is like rub it, but then as you're pulling it, gently lift and rub. I hope that's helpful. Yes, it just shows up. It's a bit subtle from a distance, but I like it. And then we have new beginnings. I was thinking, you know, any kind of celebrating a new transition in life, this could work, but also a new house or moving. It's got lots of potential. I think I'm going to go with just like a little bit of a crooked angle there. And there we have that. Let's get the butterfly on, and then we'll have to fussy cut, but that's okay. Because, I mean, let me see if I can show you. He's going to blend in a lot more. Can you see that? I don't know. Let's get it closer. I don't want to put it on there. It's kind of translucent. I don't want to touch it to it because of my experience with the other one where it's going to stay and then this wouldn't work. So let's do it this way. Pop a butterfly on there. We'll just fussy cut it out roughly. Okay, I like that. Alright, we've got the dimension on, nice and sticky, and whoop! I cannot tell you how many times that has happened to me. What is it about me and my butterfingers that things go flying? I think that I'm gonna let it be just right there, and you can see all the lovely dimension, and that is card number 1. Okay, for card number 2, there was this kind of subtle backgroundish, whatever, I don't know what I just said. Background paper, I thought, that had like mixed media texture. Love that. This is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 on a standard A2 size card base, and that's going to be the start. And then I just loved this piece of the acetate from the beginning, so I did find a use for it. I think, yeah, I'm going to have it go across and the whole card front. So this is cut to the 5.5 inches, and I think I can just do it with the tape runner. Make sure we get the whole length of it. And I want to leave a little bit of like 1/8 of an inch of the pattern paper, and then the other 8, is that another 1/8 there? I'm not sure. I've got it a little bit too high there, but I can kind of pull it down. Lovely little glue dots there. All right, there we go. And then I had this flower stamped out on the book page that I got that was kind of an well, not even off-white, more paper white. I don't know how to describe it. I have put it on a little bit of fun foam, so it's stamped out there. And I think we're gonna go around there. Before I do that, I want to try something crazy. Okay, so maybe it's not super crazy, but it feels crazy to me because I'm gonna stamp right on to the card front. That's crazy. It is crazy. I keep saying crazy. Stop saying crazy. Okay. I want to make sure I have enough room for my sentiments. So maybe I'll just figure out roughly their placement before committing to stamping there. That's pretty good, and I think this can go a little lower. And I don't know how well it'll stamp on the acetate. So, how's that? Like that? What do you think? Okay, so I would like my stamping platform because just grab it. And I think, stay put. I think I am going to go with a pigment ink. The VersaFine Clear is usually a good one for me. It's on there. It may not stay. Ooh, but I do like that. Okay. And that looks like a pretty good stamp. It may wipe off of there, so I'm kind of thinking, oops, maybe I'll just see what happens. Yeah, it's not going to stay put on the acetate. I mean, maybe if you gave it enough time, but I'm afraid I'm gonna smudge it. So I'm just wiping off that little part that went across the acetate for my own peace of mind. And that is how it looks up close. I think it's pretty good. I don't think I could get this cuteness with the twine. And anyway, I ran out of the twine, so we'll see. Now I think I feel comfortable putting my flower on. this is a great way to use, you know, old book pages. I just love the look of it. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you like the stamped over text look? And would you try that? I think this would make some great art journal pages also, you know, starting with some book page, mixed media it on, and that's not even, what am I saying? Mixed media it on. Wow, I'm making up new words here. Alright, let's start with birthday. Now these they came in a previous Simon Says stamp card kit, and it was like a sheet of sentiment. I think it's their easy cut, easy strips or something to that effect, and they are toner ink, printed with toner ink, so you can use foiling effects with them, but I'm just going to keep them black, and I tried to cut them out relatively straight. For the middle one, the Happy that I have here, I do have a little bit of that foam, a little scrap, just to have something to kind of differentiate, have it stand out a little bit. So I'm staggering these, the bottom right to a little bit the left. This one says cheers to a very. Then we have the Happy that's kind of popping out, and birthday. I hope I've left myself enough space because this little rub-on has a pair of glasses. And let's just see how that goes, because, you know, I can't really tell. I think they show up a little better, I think, on the patterned one than on my little black and white, not black and white, but the acetate. And I'm going over this thick paper, so this is a bit risky. Let's see what we get, folks. The big reveal. Okay! Yay! I call that success. And that is card number 2, and you can see, let me get nice and close. Look at that, it's so cute. I went right over that thick area and it worked. And then this string look, I love that stamp. So that's card number 2. Super easy, super fast. Now as we get going onto more and more cards, here's card number 3. I did have to start dipping into my stash a bit more because I'm running out of the papers and things and the rub-ons and or sentiments. I mean, we did have a few for the stamp set, but I do have, this is from another one of those easy strip sentiments. It's the black with the white. And then here we have a couple of the rub-ons, and I pulled in some ribbon from my stash. And as you can see here, I've used the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 full A2 size card front size, and just cut this pattern paper down to fit there. I just love it. It makes a really stunning background. And then for a focal point, I'm going to use the ribbon to kind of bring the eye in here. This was, I had some extra of the distress paint on my palette paper, which I don't know where it went, and I just mopped it up with a scrap of card that was on my desk. And then that dried, and then I stamped the butterfly on here, and it's really pretty, and it coordinates pretty well. It's close to that one right there. So first I'm gonna make a little bit of a focal point here and train the eye towards that corner with the ribbon. I think I'm just gonna use wet glue, and I think I am gonna just trim it to fit. Am I in frame here? Let's go. We're gonna kind of eyeball it, and I will let you know what that eyeballing ends up to be. That didn't sound like a proper sentence. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Oh, scoot it over. And I'm guessing quarter. Yep, it's about 1/4 of an inch. Wow, pretty close there. And then down here, let's get some more glue on this. Too straight. This is from the bottom of the card. It's looking like 7/8 of an inch. So, I mean, I could have gone a little further, but that's what I ended up with here. I'm going to give that some time to dry and then snip off the edges. But for right now, I think, well, he's going to go there eventually. I What am I doing here? Oh, you know what? I was going to put this on here, but you know what? It might disappear. It kind of doesn't stand out, and so that's why I had this in here. Guess what? I'm going to try. I don't know if this is going to work. I have a little scrap of vellum, like parchment-y paper. And I don't know. Can we get this to adhere? I hope so. What? Okay, I lost like a dot over there, but fine. That was really challenging. Let me know in the comments if you know a better way to do that. To get this kind of semi-translucent look, because that way I just didn't want to lose everything in behind, but I also want it to stand out a bit. I think I'm going to trim it a little closer now that I got it on here. Also, I wonder if tracing paper would work better or if it'd be too thin. Just don't know. And I think I'm wanting to use the tape runner. Lots of dots on there. Butterfly, you can hang out while we just figure out where to put you. Okay, I think that looks all right. Let me just use some paper to get that down. And then, do I even dare? I want to raise a glass. I gotta put my butterfly down a little so he doesn't cover up the glasses, but I don't know if it's gonna stick to the ribbon here. That was really difficult, but that's the thing about rub-ons, is that's one of their selling points is, well, one of the things I like about it is you can put it on different surfaces. Ha! Look at that! It actually was a lot easier to put it onto, cord, onto the ribbon. So you can see it shows up, and we have our vellum here, and I think I can safely put this butterfly down. It's pretty a thick scrap of card. I don't know, can you hear that? Can you see the thickness? So I don't really need any extra dimension with this guy. I don't mind covering up these words. I want it to stay in my A2 size. Well, I think I want something to hold that down, just so it sticks on there pretty well. And then finally we have the happy birthday sentiment, which I think could... Should I pop that up too? Nah, this card doesn't have too much dimension, so we'll leave it flatter. And I'll just do wet glue. And then we'll just pop that on there. That's down well enough. Let me trim off the excess. Right, and that is card number 3. Lots of cool detail, very mixed media, super fun. Here's another fun one for card number 4. We've started again with the card base, and this is that really colorful, beautiful pattern paper. I just loved especially this quadrant and this one right here, and that cost me so much anguish as I'm trying not to cover it up, but I mean, you kind of have to cover some things up in a card. So then I have a strip of black and white. These are 1 3/4 wide by about 4, and the white one is 1 1/2. And I do have just a little bit that I need to trim off here. And then I'm going to put that in the bottom section. So I think, yeah, let's go ahead and put that down. And again, basically I decided where to put this mostly because I love that part. I mean, I do want it in the bottom to kind of anchor the card, but actually I think I trimmed this smaller just to save this little flower. I mean, you gotta do what you love, right? So then we have some more rub-ons. And this is the pink one here, and I thought it would look really nice across this panel. It got really grabby. I set it down and it was like, no, I want to stay. And it was a little further over. Let's see if we can get this on all 3 papers. So far, so good. There we go. Well, there's a little piece left behind there, but not too much. And there it is going across 3 pieces of paper there. Looks really cool. Here is this lovely butterfly that I used the stencil to get some color on, and that will be a lovely focal point or image over here. First, I think I want to go crazy and try that one stamp again. Let's see how well it goes across rub-ons, huh? Where's my butterfly? I'm not quite in frame. I want to see. I think this could work. I kind of want to hide the end there. So that's why I was pulling the butterfly out. Let's see. And that just stamped beautifully. Okay. I think I might want to hit it with the heat gun though, to give it some more time to dry, but I will show you before I do that. I have to get out of the way of that cord. That's the up close stamped. It's still a bit glossy, so let's do ourselves a favor here. It still looks a little shiny. I want to see if I press down. Uh-oh. Definitely it's still inky, so I might need to give this a little more time. Okay, so maybe I went a little heavy-handed on the ink. It's taken forever to dry. I think it might be safe to do this other rub-on, but I'm not sure. Oh, I've got it all over myself too. Let's just try for the sake of time, and I was gonna put it, if you didn't want to mess with that, like time, you could just put it onto a scrap of white card and cut it out. Which maybe I should have done, but I'm going to try this. Alright, look at that. You can see, can you see that? I've got ink on the backer, but I think that's okay. I got ink everywhere, but I think this is going to work. Now, the final question is, do we put this guy down flat or do we give him some dimension? I think it could go either way, but I think for some crazy reason, I don't know why, but I'm going to go with the more simple this time. And I think maybe just because I don't have any other dimension going on in the rest of the card, I'm like, well, this can be mailed, so we'll stick, it can be mailed without extra postage is what I meant to say. Without that. Okay, that's it. Finally, we have card number 4. I think it looks pretty great, and it's got a lovely artsy mixed media look. For card number 5, I have a card base from my stash, and then Audrey Blue 4x5 1/4, and then I had to dig into my personal stash. I have this paper pad, long time ago paper pad from Echo Park, and there's this nice yellow polka dot. It's got these really cool tickets on the other side, which I'm glad I still have one because I love that side also. That's just gonna be a nice background starting point for using some of my scraps. That's right, I have some beautiful little scraps here that aren't very big. And this is a great card layout if you have coordinating colored pattern papers that are little rectangle scraps. So you get a nice coordinating background. You can have either just the plain card base and one other pattern, or subtle. Go subtle in the pattern because you've got patterns here. But basically, yeah, you want coordinating colors, and then you need sort of a little accent focal image and a sentiment, and then you got your strips. So we're going to start with this one, and I think I want to trim this a bit. I want to start with this more solid blue one, and that's 4 inches wide. No, actually it's 3 3/4, I think, because this yellow one, that's right, is 3 3/4, And then this scrap just happens to be 3/4 of an inch. But in case you're interested, I think I'm going to go roughly, let's go a little further down. What is that? About 7/8, I guess, or 3/4. 3/4, sorry. It might not be perfectly straight there. Then I'm going to take my next scrap, which does happen to be exactly 3 3/4. I think this one was my smallest one, and so it kind of determines the width there. And this one I'm going to put pretty close. Maybe that's a 1/4 inch. We will check. We'll check that. It's 3/8 actually. So pretty close there. And I think I'll put a sentiment here. And then I have this one that I'm going to need to cut down. I'm not loving this color as much, so I'm going to mark where I need to trim on this side. I've got about 3/4 of an inch there. This one's about half. You know, and you can kind of eyeball and change those measurements at will, whatever looks good to you. And then in my little goodie box here, I just have 3 of the butterflies left from the rub-ons. So we're going to put them on as little focal points. This one I think we're going to have up here, this one over here, and this one down here. And we can go ahead and rub those on. And the cool thing about the rub-ons is they're kind of translucent, but they can go across a couple different papers. And when it's touching both of them like that, it kind of brings them together. It unites the elements when you have them overlapping. So that I do like about this. This one I'm going to keep on the paper here. Ooh, losing a bit of the wing. And finally, also repeating elements is a beautiful technique in card making. And so this one went off, this bottom one, I'm repeating that technique of having it go off both pieces or touching both. It brings unity to the card when you have more than one of the techniques going on, when you repeat things, whether it be colors, shapes, etc. So for our sentiment, I do believe, yes, I have a thank you here. I thought this might make a nice thank you card. These, I can't remember what they're called. Label, maybe Tim Holtz label, something like that. And I think it came in a previous card kit. And to finish this off, I thought that we could use the stamp set, the For Everything, if we don't put it on upside down, like right there. That looks pretty good. Let's try that. Yay! Alright, that is card number 5. Really cute and summery, springy. I think this will make a really nice thank you card for someone. And let's go ahead and bring all 5 in again real quick. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful and creative day. Bye!